So if you want to know more about what I did to make changes based on my Dutch results, stick around where I go over my lifestyle changes, nutrition changes, and even the supplements that I'm adding based on my test results. If you have any questions about anything I shared today, or you want to know more about the test itself, or you're looking for someone to be a provider, you can contact me to be a provider, or you can go to the Dutch website and find a provider there. And I just wanted to go over what I am changing to support myself and support my fertility, and to reverse this secondary infertility. So the first thing that I got was adrenal support. So this is adrenal complex. This is basically adrenal glandular support for my adrenal glands, because they aren't having much output, right? There definitely have been in the past overworked and overstressed, and my cortisol output is tanking, my DHEA output is tanking, so I need to support the gland itself. The other thing that I added was DHEA. So DHEA is an active hormone, so that's why it's very important that we're not just taking these things, just because I'm taking it, I don't think that means you need to take it. We need to make sure that it's specific to what we need, right? So I'm currently taking this at double the dose for a while. This should only be taken when you are trying to conceive, not during pregnancy. So I will only be taking this for foreseeable for the next 4 months. And then, hopefully my numbers will be changing. I'll be seeing changes in my cycle health, changes in my estrogen output, my progesterone output. And then, I will definitely be getting my DHA level tested also to confirm in a few months. But this is very powerful. So I'm taking this in a double dose for now, and then I'll taper off in 2 months. And then, again, like I said, hopefully by 4 months, I won't be taking this at all. So in a 4-month spurt for that. The other thing that I'm taking is I switched to just pure Vitex by itself. I was taking Ovulation Assist, which has Vitex in it, and a few other things. So I do like this product, Ovulation Assist by Botanica. It has a lot of supporting hormones for, again, follicular health, which is, what's the preceding thing for ovulation too. And then actually a few more things just for hormone balancing, which is, so Vitex. Vitex is the OG, right? The OG hormone balancing herb, because my cycle is changing and not for the better. Post miscarriage, it does take a while for your body to, in most cases, for your cycle to normally again, to regulate again. As your body was starting to shift to thinking it's pregnant, and now it's shifting very quickly to not being pregnant. It's like your postpartum after miscarriage. So it did take a while for me to see what my normal cycle will be, but it is still not back to normal. So that is definitely something that I want to work on. So just a very gentle herb like Vitex is just kind of fills in the gaps, smooths everything over, it normalizes your reproductive hormones, your cycle hormones, in the interim of trying to figure out what's going on. So by the way, anything that I'm saying, I don't plan to be taking forever, right? The whole point is that my body needs to start making these things on their own. But I'm just trying to flood the trenches, so to speak, fill in the gaps very quickly, and then figure out what I can taper off and what I won't be taking forever. I mean, obviously I said the DHA you shouldn't be taking even once you're pregnant anyway. The glandular support, maybe you can, this is pregnancy safe. So yeah, maybe this is something I would keep taking, depending on, how my body is reacting, how my stress levels are, what my life changed. My life is not going to suddenly change and I'm like, just, all of a sudden not being triggered to be stressed, right? I need to work on how I deal with stress, how I manage with stress, what I do in the moment when I am stressed. So things like, pausing, deep breathing. I mean, it sounds like, oh, deep breathing. No, just taking a moment when I'm stressed, I literally close my eyes, relax my shoulders, like literally combating my stress response in my body by, triggering your relaxation pathways and all those different nervous pathways and all those things. Just let it go, be loose. As my girl, I got this from my girl Leslie. She was like, just be fluffy. You gotta be fluffy. And this is what I'm always telling myself, be fluffy. Be fluffy. And I just shake it off, shake it out. Because it's these in the moment things that we need to work on. Again, our life isn't gonna magically change. We're not gonna quit our job. You're not gonna move to, Fiji tomorrow. We're not gonna have like this immediate change of life and lifestyle. So what can we do in the moment? Speaking of stress, I was kind of taking magnesium off and on, not really committed to it. And then I started to have like basically facial twitches, like all over my face. Like an eye twitch is definitely like, okay, girl, you're stressed. But then it started shifting on multiple parts of my face, and it would like not be intermittent. It would be like an all day long thing. So I was like, okay, wait, what is going on? So I immediately started taking, magnesium. I was actually taking a double dose of this. Is 200, so I was taking 400, and so that immediately helped. So now I'm back down to the single dose of just managing magnesium, which is really good for reproductive health too. Like all of these things are cofactors, building blocks, assistants. Like these all kind of flow in and kind of support your hormones and the pathways of making your egg and the follicular health, all those things anyway too. So I will continue to take the magnesium. The other thing I have here is cod liver oil. So this is a good omega, specifically because it is supportive for your development, your egg development, your follicle development. Cod liver oil is also very supportive for, again, we need, when I was showing the cascade of how all the hormones go, or maybe I didn't show it, but when I was explaining it, we need to have fats. We need to have cholesterol as a fat, right? We need to have healthy fats in our body to make sure we're supporting the development of our progesterone, of our estrogen. And so for right now, my estrogen is looking like it's really low. My estrogen is really low. So having a backbone of a good quality essential fatty acid, to make sure that I'm able to develop estrogen. And that's really why I'm taking this, for estrogen support as well as follicle support in general. Another thing that I'm doing, which I was already doing, is taking vitamin C. So I didn't bring it here, but I already was taking a vitamin C supplement, a vitamin D supplement. Both of those things are very supportive for follicle development and fertility. So I had previously been taking those things already, but just in case it's something that you're not taking, that can be something that you can just go pick up tomorrow. Get some vitamin C, get some vitamin D. These are things that are supportive for our whole body health, and you're not in the same danger of being taking something that's not healthy. Vitamin D, you can take too much of it, but most of us are already pretty low. I would still say get your vitamin D levels tested, don't get me wrong. But vitamin D, you can, the recommended ranges, you can still take about up to 5,000 units. And so that's what I have, a 5,000 unit vitamin D supplement. And that's very supportive for fertility hormones. And remember what I was saying, you want to support all aspects of it. So the HPA axis and the HPO axis, the hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenal gland, or ovary, it still starts in the brain. So making sure, I drink like ashwagandha tea, not every day because I go through a whole, a rotation. But things like that, managing your stress, managing how your body deals with stress, managing how your body releases stress. So focusing on things like self-care, adding a little quiet time to your day. It doesn't have to be meditation. Sometimes that word is intimidating. It doesn't have to be meditation like, which actually, that feels really good just to do it right now. But it doesn't have to be that strict. It could just be something that you are deciding for yourself to take a minute, take a break, take a beat, take a breather from the go that is our lives. Sometimes it's our job, whether we're not taking, so for example, people who are working from home, my husband's here, he's working from home, having to remind him to eat lunch. I don't know what your situation is right now, but if you're still working from home or whatever, just having a time for yourself to breathe going outside. You know, the weather is still nice, I think, where most of us are at the moment, maybe a little too hot, but the weather is nice. Go outside, get some fresh air. I was telling a client the other day, you know, go outside and put your feet in the ground. That is literally grounding to reconnect you to the earth's magnetism. Like, it sounds a little woo-woo, I know, but you know, to align yourself with the earth. You know, the way that we are so disconnected in our body is like on 10, 11, 12 all day long. Just a little, literally grounding yourself to the earth is very supportive. And it's actually a trick for jet lag too, to tell your body what you know, longitude, latitude you are on. To put your feet in the earth, and the earth's magnetism can reset your biological clock quicker than without having jet lag or reducing jet lag. So a little random note for you there that might be edited out, I don't know. What else do I want to say? So there's so many things, so many herbs and supplements that you can be taking, so many lifestyle things you can be taking. But as far as nutrition goes, I definitely am seeing a pattern where I may be having a little bit of inflammation issues, high inflammation that is starting to stress my body out internally. And so a lot of times it can be something like too much sugar, which I'm definitely not on the too much sugar range. It's something, don't get me wrong, it's something that I will continue to monitor and kind of, you know, continue to check, but I'm not like, I can go a day without added sugar. I don't add sugar to my, what do I add sugar to? Like, I don't put honey in my smoothies or, you know, things like that. I'm not adding sugar. And then I eat plant-based. I cook most of my food, but just, again, making sure that I'm being mindful of that, you know, making sure that my fast food intake isn't getting out of hand, which I'm plant-based, so I'm not running to McDonald's every day. Just things like that, making sure that my sugar intake and my processed foods, refined foods isn't getting out of hand. Another thing would be, you know, environmental toxins, which I had already kind of gone through. You know, I'm very strict about the items I choose to use in my home, use on my body. But is there something that I need to revisit? Is there something that has, you know, evaded me that I missed? You know, I'm using, you know, stainless steel, you know, here's my stainless steel water bottle. I'm not drinking plastic water bottles. I have ceramic cookware. It's not the Teflon, which is toxic. Different things like that. You know, I don't burn. So this is a non-scented candle back there. You know, so things like that. I'm not exposing myself to a lot of environmental toxins, but maybe that's something I should revisit. So for inflammation, mostly it's coming from a dietary source. It is also most likely that I'm having issues with gut inflammation, which I definitely am more prone to believe that. Recently I decided to severely reduce, I had it for a while, I wasn't quite eliminated, gluten. I decided that I'm not celiac, but there most likely is something going on with a gluten sensitivity, a gluten intolerance. There is a such thing as non-celiac gluten intolerance, gluten sensitivity. So basically, I had decided to eliminate or severely reduce gluten from my diet, and I noticed an immediate difference in my digestion and in my bloating. Which, how did I go this whole time without realizing it? But I saw an immediate improvement in that. So that's something I'm going to keep working on, improving my gut health, improving my gut lining, and protecting it so that it can protect me from, you know, being bombarded with all these, you know, these bits and pieces that are kind of, if my gut's not intact, things are being filtered in that should be always being filtered out. So making sure I'm watching that. And then keeping up with my probiotic. I had ran out of my probiotic. I'm like, sometimes, you know, we can be the worst clients ourselves. I had ran out, I think maybe 2 months ago, and I kept forgetting to get it back. So I finally got reordered my probiotic, and maintaining my gut health with healthy gut microbiome, microorganisms in my gut to help protect to protect me and to protect my my brain health. Surprisingly, your gut health and your brain health are linked. So if we're talking about your hypothalamus, your pituitary gland, and the HPA axis, how it affects your adrenal glands. HPO is hypothalamus pituitary ovarian axis. So again, it's the brain health things that's affecting our adrenal glands. It's the brain health things that's affecting our ovaries. So I can support that by supporting my gut health, like, because it's all kind of separate but the same, right? All these systems kind of feed off each other. All these systems have a ripple effect in other systems. So making sure I'm staying on top of that with, I'm gonna start adding back fermented foods. Fermented food that I use the most is kimchi. I use a little miso also, that's fermented. I drink some kombucha, but that has a lot of sugar sometimes, which again, I'm not eating that much sugar, so I'm not saying no one should ever have sugar. So I do enjoy kombucha from time to time, but I don't drink it every day because I think sometimes it has like 16 grams of sugar, sometimes in one serving. It has so many other good benefits though too at the same time. What else do I do for fermented foods? I don't eat sauerkraut. I'm plant-based vegan, so I don't drink kefir, but that would be a good one if you do drink dairy. There are some water-based, juice-based kefirs. They're not all milk-based, but I haven't found those in the store. I should have made a list because now I can't remember all the other fermented foods, but things like that. Fermented foods, artisanal pickles can be fermented, not the ones that you buy on the shelf. Those are not fermented. But lots of pickled products that are artisanal do have the right amount of, because sometimes they're pasteurized and they kill everything off, but they do have the good probiotics, the good bacterial growth that you need to support your immune system and your digestive system. So nutrition wise, adding in things or focusing on things like cruciferous vegetables, focusing on things like flax seeds, rosemary. These things are all supportive for your detoxification pathways. These things are supportive for your hormone balance in general. Broccoli sprouts are probably the most supportive of the green pathway when I'm trying to detoxify estrogen down the preferred protective pathway. So adding things like broccoli sprouts. You can also supplement with DIM, which I didn't bring down here, but I do have DIM as well. I forgot to mention, I did start taking DIM as well, but I take that intermittently because I started drinking a lot of detoxifying teas, just having a different way. I don't want to take a million supplements, right? So just finding different ways to detoxify my body. So anything perhaps that you see, sometimes even there's a blend from like traditional medicinals, there's a detox tea, but drinking a lot of water with that, because you can't just start detoxifying, right? What do they tell you after you get a massage? Like they're getting that deep tissue massage and they say, drink a lot of water to flush those toxins out. The same thing. You can't just, loosen these toxins all in your body and never get rid of them, right? Because certainly we're talking about estrogen, it has a potential to recirculate. I mean, they all do, but talking about detoxifying estrogen, it has a potential to recirculate. So drinking your water, flushing those things out, maintaining your water every day is very supportive to your health, right? Who knew? Water, it could be that easy. So I think that's it for what I'm taking, my lifestyle changes, my supplement changes, and my nutrition, always focusing on getting my fruits and veggies, fiber. Again, that's very good for detoxifying, getting in enough servings every day. Things like flax seeds and chia seeds, all these things can be just good, quick boosts of fiber to your day. Getting your legumes, like your lentils, a lot of chickpeas is what I eat. A lot of chickpeas, a lot of lentils. I do eat some black beans. I think the rest of the family likes black beans more. So we eat black beans. All these things are very supportive for maintaining your digestive health, your gut health, maintaining your immune system, because that is also affected by your gut health, and maintaining your brain health, surprisingly, does start in your gut. So one note I do want to make about the supplementation is that, of course, we all are trying to be economical, right? We can't afford to take every single thing, right? And then it's not a good idea. Your body needs to have these supplements to be in a bioavailable form. Your body needs to have time and to absorb these things, so you can't take a million supplements anyway. I always support nutrition first, but in the instance of where my DHEA is tanked out and things like that, it seems better and more supportive to kind of flood my body first with these supplementations and then be able to taper off after that. That's why sometimes you may be prescribed a mega dose of something. You shouldn't stay on the mega dose forever, but in the interim, to quickly get those numbers up, it's better to have a high dosage. So that's kind of my philosophy. That's my approach, because I do see that I have a 4-month window. If I want to start developing good quality eggs, in the 4-month, the 120 days that it takes to develop an egg, I need to start, kind of hit it hard, get these numbers up very quickly, so that by the time I ovulate, or by the time this egg that is developing now is ready to ovulate in 120 days, in 4 months, I will have done my best to give the most nutrition, the most supplements, the most support for development and maturity that I can even now. So that's kind of my philosophy. But other than that, I have started to add salmon and eggs, but I eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, up to 24 grams of fiber each day, or at least 24 grams. I'm drinking my water. I'm doing other supplements like herbal teas and things like that to kind of support my body in other ways that aren't actually popping pills all day. Exercise, I'm monitoring my exercise, that I'm not doing too much high intensity exercise that will tip off my cortisol levels and make those skyrocket. I am monitoring my stress resilience, basically trying to get that back, increase that, because right now my stress resilience is very low. As I showed you, the act of waking up is so stressful on my body. Like, who knew that my body would be so freaked out by waking up every morning? But so working on my stress resilience, working on my pathways from starting in my brain all the way down to my tissues and organs and glands, making sure that those things are being supported. So that is my plan, to monitor my stress, find more ways of self-care, me time, quiet time, so that my body isn't in a hyper state at all times, and reducing things like screen time. Instagram is, not to go off on a tangent, but things like Instagram stimulates our brain, stimulates and triggers us in a way that there are studies being done on this, the way that it triggers our brain. And so we're in this hyper state all the time as we're consuming these minute to minute to minute to minute chunks of information. It's very stimulating for us. So to kind of check out, monitor my Instagram time, monitor my social media time, to be more present, all these things can be supportive for your fertility, in a trickle down indirect way. But all of this is, the whole picture. Hopefully what I have shown you today is helpful to you in your journey as well. And I hope that you can use this information to make changes in your life. And if not, be sure to email me, comment below, whichever way you want. You can message me on Instagram at mooncatching, whatever you want to do to find me if you need more support or you have any questions or comments.